it was just coming down to where it should have
It should have been, yeah.
Right, and so now all that's happened is the Bernanke, by printing up $1 trillion new dollars, has just pumped it back up again. So to me, it's not an issue of, what could happen to make it come down. It's more how long can Bernanke keep that thing up in the air when it shouldn't be that high.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to just shift gears kind of as we conclude. I know that you made a pretty bold statement at the end of last year, and pretty much initiated a potential debate with probably one of the more famous economists, just because of who he writes for, his columns, and winning the Nobel Prize in economics. But what gave you the idea, or what was your objective behind I guess calling Paul Krugman to the carpet?
Well, sure. So yeah, for your listeners who don't know, Paul Krugman is, as you mentioned, an Ivy League economist, and he won the Nobel Prize in economics for his work on trade theory. But beyond that, he's also in the public eye. He was a famous critic of the Bush administration from his perch at the New York Times. That he had a regular column, and then he also has a blog at the New York Times website. And so, yeah, Krugman is an arch Keynesian, meaning he thinks that free markets left to themselves are prone to disaster, and it takes wise government oversight. And in times of recession, you need the government to spend a bunch of money to run big deficits, and that's the solution to getting out of recession in Krugman's mind. So he's an arch foe of Austrian economics, both for his own positions, and also he has explicitly criticized the Austrians over the years. So a lot of Austrians have been challenging him to a debate. They always say, hey, Krugman, if you're such a smart guy, why don't you debate one of us, and we'll see whether Keynesian or Austrian theory makes more sense. And he has just dismissed them. And there was a case where he was at a book signing for one of his books, and someone in the crowd asked him, Dr. Krugman, why don't you debate the Austrians? And he said something to the effect that, well, I know you're going to think that this is just me being a coward, but, they're not worth my time. No serious economist listens to the Austrian, right? So in his mind, what would make it worth my while? So what I did with my debate challenge, and people can go to KrugmanDebate.com to see this, is I said, okay, well, how can I sort of put the pressure on him? And so I came up with this campaign where I get pledges from people, and the money's not going to go to me or to Krugman. The money, if Krugman agrees to debate me on Austrian business cycle theory, the money that is pledged goes to a food bank in New York City, because Krugman lives in New York.
On his stomping ground, yeah.
And so, so the idea is, if I get the total up really high, let's say get it to $100,000, then it's going to be awkward for Paul Krugman to say, I don't want to debate for an hour with this punk on economics, even though that would mean $100,000 is going to get donated to this food bank in New York. When when the title of my blog is Conscious of a Liberal, and I always talk about how much I care about the poor and the needy. so that's the idea. So I set up a way that people can make pledges, and the beauty of it is you don't have to make your credit card doesn't get billed until Krugman debates me. So there's no loss to the people pledging the money unless the thing actually happens.
Unless he accepts.
Right.
Okay. Well, hopefully he does. That would be quite the event. Do you know if he's aware that of what you're doing right now?
Well, yeah, I think he is. I mean, right now our total is I think like $58,000, something like that. The last I checked. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely aware of it. That some people on his blog in the comments, will make reference to the debate and give a link to KrugmanDebate.com to try to get people to go there. But also, someone for CNBC did a story on it when I first launched the debate, and then emailed Krugman and to ask him do you have any comment on this, and he didn't answer their email.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, so we can go to KrugmanDebate.com. We'll put a link on our blog and on the podcast, but they can go there and they can get a link to the pledge site.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, Bob, we're at about 35 minutes. I appreciate your time. It's always great having you on. I hope you come back and speak with us again.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well, this is Patrick Donahoe signing off. Thank you for listening today. To get the past podcast where Dr. Murphy was on, you can go to www.paradigmlife.net, or you can go directly to the podcast site, which is infinitebanking.libsyn.com. That's all for today. Thanks.